All right, well, welcome. My name is Sue Tenney from the Ohio Energy Project, and it is my pleasure to welcome Lori Payne and Aaron Costco from American Electric Power. They are in the Human Resources Department, and they are going to be answering questions specific to hiring into their company. So I think we are going to start with a video. Lori or Aaron, would you like to say anything before we get going with the video? All right, well, we'll go ahead and go on with that then.
Yeah.
If you are seeking a career with great growth opportunities with a dynamic company driven by a diverse and inclusive culture, consider a career with American Electric Power, AEP. A wide variety of career opportunities are available at this growing and innovative electric utility company, an industry leader based in Columbus, Ohio, but with a presence in numerous states. AEP is a family of affiliated electric utility companies that help power America's economic growth and lifestyles. From generation, transmission, and distribution of power, to selling retail and wholesale power contracts, to our ever-increasing and cutting-edge green renewable power-related companies, we span a lot of territory. Our 7 regional power companies bring light to homes and businesses from Virginia to Texas. Overall, we create electric power and move it to where it is needed, while keeping the power grid stable for all. We are investing in important grid construction updates and developing innovation to provide the latest equipment for reliable power for our customers. The electric power industry is an essential business to keep the lights on for homes, businesses, industries, and government structures. AEP is growing and transforming to meet today's needs. We value employee ideas and feedback for innovation and ways to improve efficiencies. Increasingly, we are implementing automation and adding cybersecurity, so developing technology is a major focus across AEP. Coming to AEP opens a door for numerous career possibilities, from administrative positions to engineering, to working in a power grid dispatch or operating center, and many other types of career opportunities. If you like to work outside, you might consider field work or power grid construction, as we join other companies in the industry to expand and upgrade the power grid to support today's digital technology. AEP provides many opportunities with skills to build on. Some job families require a high school diploma or GED. Some require a 2-year technical degree, and others are for 4-year college graduates. Why is AEP a premier place to work? Our culture strongly embraces diversity and inclusion, safety and health of all, and an environment of mutual respect, collaboration, and teamwork. Our culture also extends outside of AEP. A great number of our employees volunteer in their communities in AEP-supported efforts. Many employees choose to work long-term at AEP because of its competitive pay and generous benefits, which include access to good health insurance, 401k, and many others. AEP's culture also promotes a healthy work-life balance. This includes supporting major life-changing events like parental leave for births and adoptions. AEP also helps many expand their career horizons with a wide variety of job opportunities and room to move around and up with this large company. We also provide on-the-job training and educational assistance to help employees obtain outside certifications or degrees to expand their job possibilities. Special educational assistance is available to military veterans who qualify for GI benefits. Our colleagues in the field work outside in sometimes challenging conditions and situations. Their work schedules vary, especially when power restoration is needed. And no matter what the job, the health and safety of all is our highest priority, with our goal that everyone returns home each day in the same condition as when they came to work. A leader in power industry innovation, many employees are engineers or work in related fields. AEP teams collaborate internally and externally with access to cutting-edge technologies to develop innovative power solutions for the industry. Our employees help keep the lights on for everyone, and working for an essential service company provides many with a sense that they are helping others and performing a major service to all. Whether you are a high school or college student seeking an internship or co-op program, a recent graduate, a seasoned work professional, or transitioning from the military, there are many diverse opportunities for people of all levels. Visit aep.com/careers to find an opportunity for you. It's for our careers and your future. Be part of an industry leader. We're focusing on innovation and technology and gearing up to be the utility of the future. An award-winning company, American Electric Power.
Okay, I'm presenting right now.
All right, Lori and Aaron, I will let you take over the presentation from here.
Hold on, Aaron, and I'll get this PowerPoint going for us, okay?
Thank you, Lori.
For some reason, it's not letting me share.
We can see it.
What can you see?
Your presentation. If you'd hit slideshow, you should be good to go.
Oh, you can see it? Okay. Can you see it now?
I can't see it now. You might need to reshare it.
Okay.
Maybe reshare in slideshow mode.
For some reason, it's not working like it did earlier. Okay. Entire screen. Screen 1 is the one I'm trying to screen. Can you see anything yet?
Yes, but it does. Just hit slideshow.
Can you see it now? Okay.
Success. Thank
Yay.
you. Again, welcome everyone. Lori and I are excited to be here today. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Lori, you can advance to the next screen. I'm going to take a few moments and discuss at a high level key resume writing considerations, and then we are also going to discuss a few interview tips, and then I'll volley it back over to Lori. So your goal is a compelling resume that's well written. You really want to grab your reader's attention. You want to think of this as kind of 15 to 20 seconds to really shine. You know, when you're thinking about doing the layout, the format's certainly important. Avoid those borders or super creative fonts that are going to distract the reader. When in doubt, you know, go with that simplistic resume, a more traditional format. It's a simple choice and it's a safe choice over something that's more eccentric in nature. Your template, of course, should contain a healthy balance between white space and text. You do not want to overwhelm your reader with information. You really want to work to pare it down. You also want to make sure that you're using a professional email address. If you've used something historically, you know, maybe take time and think of something that is strictly professional and to be utilized for business case only. Also evaluate your voice message. You want to make sure that that's professional. When employers are going to be calling you or recruiters are going to be reaching out, you want to make sure you have that professional voice presence as well. Really take time and use that job description to tailor your resume. You want to tailor it to each specific position that you're applying to. So you might have more than one format as you're progressing within your professional career. But you want to market your resume on that relevant competency, if you will, and those relevant accomplishments. So think through, what functional skills can be listed. For example, if you have electronics experience from school, or welding experience, or academic performance that you can highlight, specific projects, team events and participation. It certainly doesn't have to be all work experience because you're just working to obtain that work experience. You could even highlight those volunteer experiences as well. Let's see. So in terms of critical competencies, you might hear these called soft skills as well. These are very, very important, and I think have become increasingly more important in today's world of work. So we know that your resume must align with the position, but it's also got to shine against hundreds of potential applicants. So when you're identifying those critical competencies, you want to think about how you've applied these critical skills that you're seeing listed here throughout the course of your high school career. We talked about potential athletics or theater group or affiliations, leadership positions, but you want to understand the meaning of each one of these critical competencies that you're seeing and how to describe how you've applied that specific skill to help you achieve a desired result. So if you're thinking through a couple of examples, flexibility, for example, employers want employees who accept change. They want employees that are flexible, people that are able to multitask and take on new direction, new duties. So AEP covets, I'd say, employees who are dynamic in this manner and that are adaptable. Those who have that natural ability to use a variety of methods to approach a situation to get that end result. If you have to pivot given a roadblock, be able to explain what that particular roadblock was, how you met your accomplishment, and what you did to get there. That's going to highlight your creativity. That's going to highlight that you're detail-oriented. With being detail-oriented, we need all types of employees. So if you're that person that's really meticulous about your work, are you someone that's obsessed with those fine details? Be able to translate that into an example that you could share with that interviewer. Self-motivated employees. These are those employees that are going to be those self-starters, those that go the extra mile. So how can you articulate what you've done in the past to predict that, this person's likely going to exhibit those same behaviors going forward? Emotional intelligence, that's a big one. That's the capacity to be aware and express your emotions, but also to work well in interpersonal relationships. Organization, the ability to organize your tasks and your projects. You're going to be organizing teams in a different environment. So you want a very structured resume that's going to help you achieve these goals. Lori, could you progress to the next slide? All right, so we are trying to persuade an employer to call you. So here are a few suggestions that I have in the do's department. You do want to write with that intention of creating interest and really selling yourself. You have to think about what that particular position that you're applying to requires. How do you fit those requirements? How do you tell the hiring manager about yourself in an interesting way? It's important for you to think about these things, not only from your resume stance, but also for your interview going forward. You want to be able to tell that story and capitalize on your strengths. In doing so, it'll help tell people what you can bring to the job. Take time to use percents, or if you can quantify information or provide numbers to back something up. If you're struggling, a lot of people do. It's like, how can I articulate myself? It's hard to sometimes pinpoint your own successes and translate that into a solid example. Enlist others. I would highly recommend kind of gaining that 360 perspective because it is difficult to identify your own strengths from time to time. Reach out to your teachers, talk to your coworkers, supervisors, family members, and ask them, what are some strengths that you see in me? Don't be afraid to ask that question. Like, well, why do you think I'm hardworking? Or what is it that makes you say that? What is it that you see me do differently that makes you say that? You always want to proofread that resume. Make sure there are not any glaring typos or things that are coming out of that resume. And again, make sure that you're aligning it with the position that you're applying to. Next slide, Lori. Quantifying information. So quantifying is just backing it up. We want to make sure that it's specific, and if you have numbers to show, this first example that I'm providing here, let's just say it's a project management example. So help the team complete a major project supporting a local nonprofit. It's a decent little statement. Mine's probably a little more wordy than you want to get when you're working on your resume. But example B, it's tying in the number of individuals that supported the project. So you're enhancing it by saying, I had a 15-member team. And that reader's probably thinking, wow, that's a large group of individuals to work with you on this project. How did you expand? How did you get roles and priorities delegated? What was that project plan? So you're kind of building that statement to show, hey, during a 6-month duration, you collected 1,000 new and gently used tools. You contributed those to Habitat for Humanity, all simultaneously while coordinating this group to build a house, because that's what they're all about, is giving back to the community. So you can quickly see how this person utilized those critical competencies. They had to be motivated. Maybe they did a lot of research to make sure that they came in under budget in this particular example. But you really want to make sure that you're taking time to think through these examples so that the reader can see that you met your goal, you communicated effectively, and how it is that you got to that end goal that was desired. So again, this one's a little wordy, but just to show you how to layer in those additional specifics. Next slide, Lori. You can kind of blast through this one. So moving on to the interview phase, be prepared. Being prepared is going to take away those feelings of anxiety that it helps enable you to be confident. That's what you want this interviewer to see, is that confidence that you're exuding. In order to do so, make sure that you're studying that job description. Compare it against your resume. Like I said before, do that for each particular opportunity that you're applying to. Take time and research the organization. Look into the interviewers. Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on a social media connection? Look for signs of company culture. If you enjoy volunteer work, identify, what philanthropic giving efforts or charitable efforts the organization is focused on. Look for potential connection and conversation points with the interviewer. For example, you saw in our video, but AEP does a lot of philanthropic giving efforts. We do a lot to work and partner with the community. Lori, who's on the call with us today, she does Meals on Wheels. So she's going out and delivering meals. I'm part of a working mothers resource group internally. But there's lots of ways that you can do a little digging and find those connection points, because you know what? You're also interviewing this company, and you want to make sure that it's a good fit for you, not only personally, but professionally. Is it the type of job that you're looking for? And is this the type of organization that you can see yourself growing with? Those first impressions make an impact. So set that stage appropriately. Arrive 15 minutes early if it's an on-site interview. Think about with our current state, how the dynamic has changed. We had to quickly switch overnight from doing in-person interviews to utilizing the virtual technology. Use the same time to establish yourself in advance of any virtual interface that you'll have. We had some trouble getting this call set up today. I had some issues with my speaker. So those things are going to come, but it shouldn't be something that you stumble over. Take time as well to dress for success. Even if it is a virtual interview, set that tone for your day early. That includes self-care. Grab your hot tea, grab your coffee, grab what you need, get some food in your stomach. Make sure, even in this arena, you can't necessarily step up and do a firm handshake. but you can offer that eye contact and that enthusiasm, your body positioning when you're having a virtual interview. Again, go back to that same friend who helped you see your strengths, or that family member. Have them interview you. Take time, as silly as it sounds. It's really beneficial to be able to articulate it, even if you're doing this interface with your mirror or talking yourself through your examples that you've captioned from your resume. Lori, if you could progress to the next slide. Think of examples that you're particularly proud of. What you're seeing on the screen here is a basic illustration. This might be depicting, it appeared to me, as a garden experience, right? So in the lower left, you've got this person here who has some imagery of wilting flowers. All right, so she's got a task at hand. What did this person do to rectify the situation? They might have done some research on the planting zones. They might have taken some time to look up fertilizers and see, what can I do to help this plant grow? Is it the proper lighting? What we're trying to illustrate here is that when you're providing an example, there is a technique that you've probably heard of. It's situation, task, action, result, and it stands for STAR. So that's an easy acronym for us to remember and recall. But your experience, once again, should be coming from, whether it be that community involvement, school, or another outside experience. You want to think of those positive outcomes that were particularly difficult to achieve. Illustrate what made them difficult, how you overcame it, what's great now that you're on the other side of this challenge, what did you learn from the experience? If you can button that all up and bring it full circle, that's what an interviewer is looking to hear from you. Be prepared to provide those examples around working with teams or other employees, examples where the relationships were really strong. How did you keep it strong? How did that help you achieve a positive outcome? Think about challenging examples. People always want to hear, how did you overcome a challenge? How it helped you achieve that positive outcome in the end. Write these examples down. It's not something you'll take with you to your interview. Maybe if you're sitting in your virtual environment, put those conversation starters on a Post-it somewhere that's visible for you, but simply the highlights. Practice sharing those examples with a family member or friend. You want these to be natural stories. You certainly don't want to trip over your language trying to be too scripted in discussion. But again, situation, task, action, result. If you've done something historically, it's a pretty good indicator that you're going to apply that same behavior or thought process going forward. And Lori, if you progress towards my last slide. Again, final thought, don't memorize. You don't want to sound too robotic. You want to be comfortable, whether you're asking the questions or giving that elevator pitch or that speech. Think about those high-level reminders to yourself. Have clarifying questions in mind. Again, you are also interviewing this company, so you want to know, think about what you want to know. Be sure how you can articulate, why you're strongly interested in that position. Have your questions available and ready. What does a typical day in the life of this role look like? What are your departmental goals this year? How did you develop your career with this company? What do you value most about the leaders within this organization? What's allowed for you to be successful here? Anything you want to know. This is certainly your opportunity to engage that interviewer and to gain some feedback for yourself so that you can determine if this is the right fit for you. And the most important, be yourself. You want that genuine personality, if you will, to shine. Yes, you're interviewing, but again, keep in mind that you're also interviewing that employer. And follow up. Please do the follow up. I feel as though that's something that's kind of trickled as of late. Within 24 hours, send a quick email or send an individual thank you note. It not only will show that you're interested and that you valued their time, but it will also prove that, hey, you've got a second to sell yourself again. So if there is a unique strength that you feel that you're going to bring to the table, that you're going to offer. You know, share that talking point. Don't forget to address those little things, because it's once again that final touch point for you to connect with the interviewer. If you bonded over something, for example, make mention of that in the email. If you thought of a solution to maybe a challenge that they proposed, again, that's your chance within that quick little thank you note to acknowledge that. If there's any other questions that you have throughout the course of our presentation, I think we're going to try to do a little Q&A here at the end, and hopefully those questions are coming in through Sue in the chat feature. But I'm going to volley it back over to Lori so that she can share with you a little bit more about how to apply to the AEP team. Thank you.
Hey, Sue, can you hear me?
Yes, we're good.
Oh, good. Okay, I didn't know if I had turned off my volume or not.
You're all good.
Okay, great. It's a pleasure visiting with you today, students. My name is Lori Payne, and I'm going to talk a little bit about positions that we have that you're most likely going to see on our website. So what we do, here are listed 4 entry-level positions that you will typically see out there on our website. The Customer Operations Associate, which is a customer service position, distribution line mechanic, network line mechanic, and distribution design technician. So the Customer Operations Associate, again, it is a customer service position. It's an entry-level opportunity. Keep in mind, we do have 6 customer operations centers. We used to call them call centers. We've updated that title a little bit. We have 6 of those centers around the country. And here we've listed out all the states, cities and states that we are located in. Okay, the minimum requirement for this position is a high school diploma or GED. We do ask that you have at least a year relevant customer service experience to be qualified for this position. And that year could be anything from, you could be working fast food, you could be working in a department store, you know, anything of that nature would be part of the experience we would look at to qualify you for that position. The customer operations associate position does require a pre-employment test, and the test is listed on this slide. It is a basic skills test. So all we have listed out here are the components of the test. There is no practice for this, okay? So you don't go searching on our website for a practice test for customer operations, because it won't be out there. There is, in addition to the basic skills, there's also a simulation test that goes along with it, which is basically gives you an opportunity to sort of see what it would be like to work in a call center. You can see the pay range is shown there at the bottom of the screen. Starting pay starts at about $15 an hour. It tops out at about $19.25. And in that position, you would be eligible for overtime pay and also the annual incentive bonus. One other thing I'll mention about the call center jobs. You won't see that position posted on our website because we have a third-party vendor, a contract firm that does all the hiring for us, okay? And the company name is InnoSource. So if you were interested in a customer operations associate position, it would be wise probably to contact us, and then we would provide you with the information. I can also follow up with a telephone number and the company name to any faculty that might want to pass that along to the students. Okay. Typically, when we hire customer service positions, prior to COVID, we were hiring about 23 contractors at a time, and we would most likely hire 3 times a year. Okay, so the 23 contractors fills a class, and then everyone would be in a classroom setting for like the first 4 weeks, learning how to do that job. Okay. Distribution line and network mechanics. You probably saw quite a bit of that type of work on that video. So the first picture there shows an overhead lineman, and the bottom picture, of course, is the network. So the overhead, that's the guy that's climbing the pole. The network guy, he's working underground, so he's in a confined space. So their job is to construct and maintain overhead and underground distribution power line equipment. And they do work with high voltage electricity. So you can, if you're interested in physical work, this is the job for you. That high school grad or equivalent for both positions. You do have to complete and pass the construction and skilled trades test, which is the CAS test, as well as a physical ability assessment in order to be qualified for that position. There's some other general information there about you have to have the ability to progress within that position to the next higher level in the job classification. You have to maintain a valid state driver's license, and you have to be able to obtain a Class A CDL. Okay. The pay range there for distribution line and network starts out at $21.29 an hour and tops out about $43.03. And again, eligible for overtime and incentive pay bonus.
Hey, Lori, before you move on to this one, we had a question about the customer service positions. Right now, are those remote or are those on-site positions?
We have both. We have both. Prior to COVID, it was all office, with the exception of a handful of folks that were work-at-home agents. And I mean, when I say a handful, I mean a handful. There were probably 8 to 10 that were working from home at that time. But now, since COVID, I would say the majority is working from home. Now, I can't say what it will be, if we come out of this COVID thing this summer. I know that right now we're looking at the future of work. So we're making some decisions now about what that's going to look like for each department and business unit. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Distribution design technician. This is another position that you could be eligible for with just a high school diploma. The distribution design tech, they're responsible for working with the customer and determining what their electricity needs are, and then designing a system for that. You'll see that with when folks build a new house, or if there is someone who started a business and they're wanting to get power to a building. So that customer design person, they'll come out, they'll meet with the customer, and they will help design what that electrical system should look like. Okay, so their requirement for that job, high school diploma or equivalent, plus 2 years of related utility industry work experience. Now, you could potentially get that 2 years. Like I've seen folks take maybe the electricity curriculum in high school or a vocational school, and then maybe they've worked with their dad or their uncle in his electrical business, and maybe they got a job after that working for a contract company. And I've seen some of them come to us after that, and then they've been able to come in with that 2 years of related utility industry work experience. If you aren't able to get the experience that way, of course, it could be the associate degree that's shown there on the slide. Okay, and then the pay range starts out somewhere in around $25 an hour. I'm not sure what it really tops out as. I think this was an example of someone that whose pay I was looking at. So there, I believe Erin may know a little bit better about this position, because I know she's hired this job. I haven't hired for this job in a long time. So if there are questions about that, I'm sure Erin can help us with that. Okay, how to apply for a job with AEP. I think it was mentioned on our video to go to your web browser, type in AEP Careers, and then click on Careers at AEP. And it will take you to the careers site. And then you can see below at the bottom, there's their option down there for searching open positions. If you click on Our Positions, what will pop up is this slide. Gives you the full slide, actually. Search for open positions. You can search for positions by job title, or you can search by team descriptors, which that would be like if you wanted to search by department. Like you'll see departments out there such as building maintenance. There's one, I think, for energy and utilities, where you would see like the line mechanic positions, or information technology if you're interested in IT. So you can also search by location, city, and state if you wanted to see just positions in Columbus, Ohio, or just positions in Canton, Ohio. You can narrow down your search that way. Okay. Okay, so if you, I think I went too quick on that because I was going to talk a little bit about creating a profile. So there is an option here for creating a profile and to check your status. You can also check create job alerts here. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You could start here with the get started. And you can also, I believe, save your resume out there so that you're ready whenever a position gets posted. The job alerts is really helpful because what it can do is if you set up a job alert, say you're interested in the line mechanic position, you create a job alert for line mechanic, and every time we post a line mechanic position, you'll get an email that shows you that we just posted one, so you can go out and take a look at it. So another way of getting to that place to create your profile is if you're on the career site and you click on the contact link, and then you'll get this page. You click on contact again, and then go down to where it says careers and click on that link, and it actually places you the place where you want to register for the job alerts and creating the profile and then checking your application status. So there's two different ways you can go in and to do it. So if you go in and you register, it's going to ask you, of course, username and password. The job alerts, of course, will notify you when you have a specific job title that's posted. It's a great way for you to keep up with what positions are being posted. I would encourage you, if you're interested in AEP, to do so. There is also a link for joining the talent community. If you join the talent community, you can receive additional updates from AEP on opportunities that are available for review. There's also several different things out there. There's a lot of information on our website about if you were interested in co-ops and internships and that type of thing. And I think if you were had listed yourself in the talent community, you would also receive updates on upcoming events. If you went out there today and looked at see upcoming events, I think it shows like a job fair that AEP is participating in. So there's a lot of different ways you can be connected to us. I believe there's another option out there for military folks, how they can join the talent community, as well as a means by which you can create a link to your Facebook page so that you could get updates through Facebook as well. So there's a lot of different technical ways you can stay connected to us. Okay, so
Lori, we had another question, and we said we would be done at 1:45, but if you all are available and if anyone wants to stay on longer, we can definitely run a little bit over. But a question did come up about the last position that you discussed, and you said Aaron might have a little bit more experience hiring in the last position, but the question is, would our HVAC or engineering graduates be eligible for this position? It was the one that required 2 years of experience, because there are electrical components in their curriculum during their Career Center program.
Yeah, I don't know, Aaron, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So the customer design job family, if you will, has different levels. The entry level position within this job group classification allows for high school education. Beyond that, to step up to beyond an associate, the higher levels, you would have to achieve the 2-year associate degree. Keep in mind, an organization like AEP also offers tuition reimbursement. So once you get your foot in the door, you can take advantage of our tuition reimbursement process and move forward to obtain that 2-year degree. And then you can be promotable within that job family. So yes, that experience is advantageous. Put it on your resume, speak to it. Certainly highlights that technical knowledge and experience that you have. Does that clarify?
Yes, thanks, Aaron. And just to emphasize again, if you hopped on late and you do have to hop off at 1:45, we are recording this and it will be posted on our website. So I will send you the link. So sorry to interrupt, Lori. Keep on going.
That's okay. There's only 2 more slides, so
Perfect.
hopefully we can get through it. The next couple of slides, the one thing that I mentioned earlier was the testing for line mechanic positions. If you are interested in that position, you can get on our website and see that the careers link. There's the our positions link on that page. If you click on that and scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see the employment test prep. Okay, so this is for the CAST test for line mechanics. This is not our site, but it is a link to EEI's website, Edison Electric Institute, and they are the developers and the owner of the CAST test. If you wanted to see what a practice test looked like, you go get on their site, and of course you could see where you would type in AEP and AEP as the logon credentials, and what would open up is this page where it shows the practice test for CAST. Okay, so all that to say, one other thing I'll tell you about CAST testing, we don't test on demand. So you would have to have applied for a position with us, and we would have had to have looked at your resume and deemed that we want to test you for the position in order for you to get the CAST test done. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out because we have a third-party vendor that does a lot of the testing for us as well. Okay, so after that, I guess I would open it up to questions.
Aaron has been answering some of them through the chat as we've been going along. I think there was one that you hit on a little bit, Aaron, but I don't know if you want to talk about, just so everyone can hear, because many interviews are happening virtually. How do you make a good first impression in a virtual interview?
I'd say smile. You know, you want to have that we talked a little bit about the genuine personality. Hey, how are you? Be engaging. You know, I think our leaders do a good job at setting that stage, making it comfortable for you. You know, they're going to open it up. That interviewer can say, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. They might talk about the weather. They might talk about a big sporting event, just something to set the stage a little bit before you go into those interview questions. But I would imagine they'd get everybody on the call. We typically do roundtable, let folks introduce themselves. They'd be sharing with you who they are, what their position title is. They might volley the questions back and forth if there's, you know, 2 or 3 people sitting on a panel. But I think there are certainly some advantages of interviewing virtually. You know, we talked about having those Post-it notes. Heck, you could have all sorts of things out here as long as your focus isn't looking downward. You want to make sure your focus is on that interviewer. But yeah, I think that's an easy one. Just smile and be friendly, and you'll go right into it.
Yep.
Lori, any other thoughts from your stance?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the best thing is to be yourself and try to calm your nerves a little bit, because it is a little nerve-wracking doing some of these virtual things. You know, getting in front of a video camera and stuff, and you can't. I really don't know which is more nerve-wracking for me. It could be the technology and stuff. That's always nerve-wracking for me.
Right, my palms get all sweaty.
Yeah, and so I mean, if you can, you know, figure out an easy way to kind of calm yourself down, take a couple deep breaths, and just talk. You know, talk. In some cases, you know, you talk just like you're talking to one of your friends. Maybe not too. Don't get too comfortable, but you know, I think that's an important thing. You know, because we respond. You know, most of us at AEP, we're just people too. So just.
Well, I would like to thank you, Lori and Aaron, so much for your participation today, and also teachers and students. We thank you for your participation. We will post the recording on our website, as well as I think the lady said it was okay that we could post their PowerPoint. So if there were specific slides that you'd like to go back and revisit, we can post that as well. Additionally, if you have questions that maybe after you've had a little bit of time to think about the presentation, if you have them, please send them to me and I will make sure that we get them answered, and we'll get Lori and Aaron's expertise on your questions there. So thank you so much for participating today. We appreciate you and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.